is a wonderful Thursday morning, the 21st of November 2024, and the time is exactly 2 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock. Good morning to you, the GIC viewers and listeners within and beyond the borders of the Republic of Namibia, and a very warm welcome to your Thursday morning edition of the Cabinet Committee briefing session. Now, this is a national platform initiated by the government of the Republic of Namibia, emanating from the government communication strategy approved by Cabinet and implemented by the Ministry of ICT. Now, the platform is initiated to serve as a conduit for transmitting information on government projects, programs, policy formulations and advancements, forecasts and updates, but also strategic implementations within the respective OMAs to the general public. And the aim is, of course, to fast-track information dissemination. And for this morning's edition, I am your host, Helene Philippus Hamunyela, and I'm delighted to introduce to you the Deputy Minister of Sports, Youth and National Service, Dr. Emma Kantema, to present to the Namibian nation her ministerial update. Once again, Doctor, good morning and welcome to the Government Information Center. You have the floor.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. A very good morning to the viewers, more specifically our young people in our sports fraternity. It's with great pride and a profound sense of responsibility that today I stand here before all of you, especially those ones who are following us from your offices, from homes, to present significant strides that as a Ministry of Sport, Youth and National Service, we have embarked upon, especially since our last briefing. I will be presenting the planned initiatives as a ministry that we have implemented so far. And as we gather here to review and also to appraise the nation on our ongoing projects and future plans, I'm reminded of our noble mandate that we're entrusted with, which is essentially shaping the youth of Namibia, fostering national pride, and elevating our country's status on the global stage when it comes to sport. Our work is driven by a commitment to excellence, community development, and the unwavering belief in the potential that our youth hold, who are essentially the majority of our population. We have a diverse array of initiatives that spans across implementing the initiatives that aim to achieve youth empowerment. We have initiatives that speaks to sports development and also in terms of our efficiency in delivering our service. And each of these initiatives I'll delve into detail. I would like to apprise the nation, first of all, on one of our most significant projects, that's in sporting infrastructure, because we know that as a ministry and as government, it is our responsibility to ensure that we provide a conducive environment for our sport, for our athletes to practice sport, to promote and to develop sport. So I would like to highlight some of the achievements and the progress made on several projects. As a ministry, we endeavor to ensure that we expand our footprint in towns where we currently do not have stadiums, and we have done so in most of the towns, and we are making headways to expand, and in few months we will also be announcing a very good initiative that will be in Karas region, so please keep on watch the space. It will not be part of today's briefing. Starting off with the Nana Sports Complex, that's in Ohangwena region. Currently, this project is in its fifth phase, with significant progress made, including the completion of a multiple purpose courts and ongoing work on key facilities, with a budget of 20 million that was provided for in this financial year. The basketball, volleyball, and netball courts are 100% completed. With other words, if you happen to go to Enana, you will see that these courts are standing, still looking brand new, because it has been 100% completed, whilst the changing rooms stands at 95% completion rate. The sewer line is also 100% completed, And this also include the electrification work that was done on this project, and the irrigation for the soccer field together with the tartan track will be completed by the end of next February 2025. So with other words, we are really pleased to see that the Enana Sports Complex is taking shape, because we know and we are cognizant of providing a sports facility in Ohangwena region, because currently that's one of the challenges that as a ministry we are faced with and we are also seized with. Second project, Franz Dimbare Integrated Rural Youth Development Center. This is in Kavango East. The construction of a sewer treatment plant that has been on our books for a while, addressing a serious health hazard, has been completed with an investment of around 16 million Namibian dollars. So that project is completed, and it's now, we can tick it off now from our books. Coming to Ochozonjupa region, Ochuarongo Multi-Purpose Youth Resource Center, in this current financial year, 2024-2025, we've made a budgetary provision of 5 million that was allocated to this project, and the land has been acquired, and the bid for the feasibility study was advertised. I've seen it myself in the newspaper. That is now for us to start setting up in Ochuarongo Multi-Purpose Youth Resource Center. Moving over to Omsati region, in terms of our sports complex that we envisage to set up in Otapi, for this financial year, we've made a budgetary provision of 3 million Namibian dollars, and so far, a bid for the feasibility study has been advertised. So it's gaining traction. So it's work in progress. Moving over to Kunene region, Opuo Multipurpose Youth Resource Center and the Sports Complex, where an amount of 3 million has been allocated in this current financial year. Again, like the other two projects that I've just alluded to, a bid for the feasibility study has been advertised in the newspaper in order for us to enlist the service of a consultant to assist us to develop a feasibility study, because we know that when it comes to implementing projects in government, that's a first phase. Moving over to Zambezi region, Katima Mulilo Sports Complex, where an amount of 2 million Namibian dollars has been allocated in the current financial year. Again, a bid for the feasibility study has been advertised, just like the other projects. And moving over to Hardap is Marintal Multipurpose Youth Resource Center. Those of us who have been following these developments will recall that we had a project and we had to demolish the existing structure in the previous financial year due to non-compliance, and a comprehensive feasibility study is to be carried out during the current financial year. And again, this bid also was one of those that we've advertised. You've seen that we advertised a number of those projects in the newspaper. A total of 3 million has been allocated to this project in this current financial year. Moving over to Kavango West, Kurenkuru Multipurpose Youth Resource Center, one of those projects that's gaining momentum. And I'm happy to report that Phase 1A, which consists of the construction of a netball, volleyball, and a basketball court, are 100% done. So if you are in Kavango West, you can go and see it for yourself. Changing rooms are 95% completed. We are only remaining with a small finishing like the tiling. The sewer line is 100% completed, and an allocated budget was provided for 10 million Namibian dollars. We have already started with Phase 1B that is currently underway, with an amount that has been budgeted for another 10 million Namibian dollars. This phase now, Phase 1B, will entail a mini pavilion. It will include a tennis court, irrigation, and a lawn for soccer pitch, and also a feasibility study report, because we want to start moving towards having an integrated youth and sports center. So it should comprise of a sport complex and also of a youth resource center. So that is as far as Kavango West is concerned. Moving over to Erongo, we have commenced also with an advertisement to enlist the service of a consultant to draft or to develop a feasibility study to set up a USACO sports complex. The facility has been secured with fencing. We have started with fencing and a guardhouse. So this has been successfully constructed. So this is what you will see when you pass by USACOs. And 3 million Namibian dollars have been provided for in the 2024-2025 financial year. This is for us to ensure that we do carry out the feasibility study as it was advertised. Again, going back to Hardap, we have made significant strides with Maritime Sports Stadium. We renovated in the previous financial year, and we have now completed that renovation. I'm happy to report that the lawn has been successfully planted on the soccer field, and this activity was budgeted for an amount of 2 million Namibian dollars. This concludes the update as far as the sports stadium, sports facilities is concerned. But I also just want to make mention that in terms of our Independence Stadium, which is an iconic venue, we believe that it's not just a sports facility, but it will be a symbol of our national pride and a hub for community development where we have made initially a provision of 80 million to upgrade and to renovate the declassified Independence Stadium in order for us to meet the CAF and FIFA requirements. We made progress as far as the awarding of a consultant to start also with the feasibility study to ensure that we upgrade the facility. But unfortunately, we are experiencing a bit of hiccups, and in line with the Section 55 of the Procurement Act of 2015, we did award, but unfortunately we were faced with a review process where one of the bidder has approached the courts to initiate a review process. So that's as far as Independence Stadium is concerned. And I would like to use this platform to just correct the narrative that was going around on in one of the daily newspapers, where they reported that I did not show up for a press conference that was supposed to, or a press briefing that was supposed to announce progress on the Independence Stadium. It's not the case. This was contributed to by the process that I've just indicated that was initiated in terms of the review process. So I'll not dwell much on this project because since it's in the courts, it's sub judice for me to discuss it. But we have made that progress, and I think it's important that we take note of those strides. Looking ahead, we are very ambitious with the other projects that we are making traction, and we are encouraged to continue to do more because we know that sports, arts, and creative industry provide the much needed opportunities for our young people to not only practice it, but also to gain income from it. However, with these several challenges that we are experiencing, especially with the bigger projects, I hope that we will overcome and finally will continue to move as planned in our annual plan. I now want to turn my attention to the Youth Empowerment Initiative. And during the period 2023-2024, despite the numerous challenges that as a ministry we faced, we are happy to note the significant strides in furthering our mandate to enhance youth empowerment programs. And in this current financial year, we aim to amplify the efforts through our targeted interventions designed to improve the livelihood of our young people. And I would like to start with an initiative that is geared towards youth health and well-being. So far, the ministry has reached around 5,336 youth through its youth-friendly clinics, and it has also engaged 3,100 young people on sexuality and reproductive health matters. For the current financial year, the ministry aims to reach 3,200 youth with sexual reproductive health rights, as well as comprehensive sexuality education services, and a further of 2,992 youth with awareness and information dissemination, because it's a very important pillar enshrined in our national youth policy, where we want to have young people holistically groomed and prepared to navigate the challenges that young people are faced with. Additionally, we plan to hand over also the business startup toolkits to about 127 vulnerable youth across 14 regions. This is one of our economic strengthening pillar, because we do know that the challenges of youth unemployment is rife, especially amongst youth. And as a ministry, we consistently look for ways to encourage young people to partake in entrepreneurship activities. In terms of the youth employment and economic empowerment pillar, our famous 121 rural youth enterprises, we have established it successfully across the 121. And so far, the ministry has managed to fund 28 out of these 121 enterprises to the tune of 8 million through the soft loan facility from the Development Bank of Namibia. Now, out of these 28 enterprises funded, 18 have started operations, with the remaining 10 finalizing their compliance documents. And also, there was a need to revise the financial projections. And obviously, after we've concluded this process, the operation should then kick off. For this current financial year, I'm happy to note that as a ministry, we've budgeted 9.8 million to complement the 8 million that was received from Development Bank of Namibia. Again, this is in order for us to operationalize some of the remaining enterprises, because the enterprises are 121 because of the 121 constituencies that we have. So we want to ensure that the young people in the constituency where you are able to participate in the economic activities of that constituency. Another initiative that I want to praise the nation on is our Namibia Youth Credit Scheme, which aims to equip young people with funding and basic business administration skills in order for them to create employment opportunities for themselves and also for other young people. And in line with our national youth policy, on the pillar of youth economic empowerment, the ministry in this annual plan that we are currently implementing, so far we targeted to train 980 youth across the country, and thus far we have trained 574 youth during August to September 2024, which I think it represents a good number when you look at how far we are from our target. And of which 540 youth have qualified already for the loans amounting to 3,974,352 Namibian dollars in this quarter. Currently, we have ongoing trainings that's taking place in Ketmanshoop, that's in the Karas region, where we have 32 young people being trained, Hardap 34 young people, and we envisage to train around about 490 youth by January 2025. It's one of the initiatives that I think as the ministry we've really amplified our efforts, and this year we are keeping track on our target. We thus plan to disburse loans to about 920 youth for business startups through the credit scheme in the current financial year, and this will amount then to the value of 7.3 million. As a ministry, we also embarked on a youth self-employment and income-generating project, and as part of our youth self-employment initiative, because we cannot always say that young people should create employment, but this is one of the initiatives that we are that we have embarked on to assist them to achieve that what we want them to be. The ministry, through the National Youth Service, has enlisted 153 youth across from the regions who are currently taking part in a charcoal production training. The youth have been trained in civic training, that's the first phase, first aid, biomass identification and harvesting, in order for them to then fully partake in the charcoal production and in the industry. The practical course for charcoal production to be offered by the Charcoal Association of Namibia has been scheduled to commence on the 2nd December of 2024 upon sufficient biomass, around 400 tons, currently being harvested by the youth in anticipation of this course. This project is aimed at empowering the youth to generate their own income, supported by the National Youth Service in production and marketing of their products after requiring the training that I've just mentioned. Now, when it comes to the target, this project aims to benefit about 750 youth by the end of the financial year. That is by the end of the 2025 financial year, which is end of March. And this is to also encourage young people to diversify in terms of running businesses. The another initiative on youth empowerment is our government-to-government funding that we are implementing together with the USAID that complements the youth empowerment programs, targeting adolescent young girls and boys in the areas of comprehensive life skills. Again, very important for us to ensure that we have productive youth who are well-disciplined, who are equipped to be responsible citizens. So far, we have reached 774 youth that we have trained across all regions. In terms of sexual gender-based violence, which we know is disproportionately affecting young people, 740 youth across all regions have been reached thus far. And the last activity on that government-to-government funding is the economic strengthening, financial literacy, and entrepreneurial training, where so far we have trained around 742 young people. Lastly, on the youth empowerment is the youth skills training. The ministry is mandated to offer basic skills training to young people who do not meet the entry requirement of conventional technical, vocational education and training institutions, as well as higher education. I'm mentioning this because often we get confronted with questions where they think that people think that we are duplicating efforts from the VTCs, from the tertiary education. No, this is for us to ensure that we provide basic skills for young people who do not meet these requirements, because what do you then do with a young person who, for one reason or the other, have not managed to obtain this requirement? So we then capacitate them in order for them to enhance their employment chances. By the end of the second quarter of 2024-2025, the ministry had enrolled about 86 young people for semester basic skills training. Breaking it down, in Opuo at our multi-purpose resource youth center, 10 has been trained in tailoring. Kidmanshoop has also seen a number of 33 young people trained in basic computer. We know that the world is going digital. And in Windhoek, 19 young people have been trained in tailoring, and in Otapi, in Umsati region, around 24 was trained, 12 in tailoring, 12 in basic computer literacy. An additional of 82 youth completed their basic semester skills training at Kidmanshoop, that's in Karas, and in Windhoek, 18 in basic computer, and also in Otapi, as I've mentioned. I now want to move over to the sports update. Through a cabinet decision that was passed last year, the cabinet has approved the government of the Republic of Namibia as a member of the African Union Sports Council Region 5 to host the 2025 Youth Games. This is one of very exciting initiative, very exciting event that I want to share with the Namibian people. These 2025 Youth Games are prestigious games. It was supposed to be hosted by Mozambique on a reciprocal basis, but we know the challenges that Mozambique is facing, making Namibia then the next country to host. So from 2nd to 28 June 2025, Namibia will host these games. It's under 20 youth games, bringing together around 10 countries that will assemble in Namibia to partake in around 14 sports codes. So it's a very huge task for Namibia, but again, we are gearing ourselves to put all the wheels in motion in order for us to successfully host. I'm also pleased to announce that the last cabinet meeting has approved our local organizing committee that will be headed by Dr. Ndelupula Hamutuma, who will then be in charge of the local organization committee. Now, in terms of the sports codes, it will vary from different sports codes, ranging from soccer, netball, athletics, and not just only athletics, but also athletics for the paras, and with other words, the disabled persons. We'll have games in karate, basketball, volleyball, boxing, swimming, and so on. That is quite exciting for us. We know it's a huge task, but yeah, we are getting ready to host, and we are looking forward to our Namibian to chair on our Namibian team, and also to support us in hosting these games. I now want to turn over to initiatives that we have that speaks to our governance initiatives in the sports sector. We have embarked on a process to amend our Sports Act, that of 2003, because we want to incorporate some of the issues that we've seen outdated. We are moving with the trends, and we are making progress, albeit not at the speed that we've wanted to. So far, where we stand, we have started reviewing the second draft that we've received from the legal drafters, and we really aim to conclude this initiative in order for us to take it through the governance processes up to Parliament for approval. So we are currently reviewing this draft that came from the legal drafters. On the part of the boxing, we also reviewing the Boxing and Wrestling Control Act, which is archaic, because we find it also discriminatory. It does not allow for women to partake in boxing, so that's one of the major amendments that we foresee to make in that regard. Also, tightening up our regulatory framework is an anti-doping bill that we have commenced. It's highly recommended, if not compulsory, from the WADA, which is the World Anti-Doping Agency, where each country is expected to put in legislation that governs the doping activities in the country. So we're also making progress in that regard. And lastly is the sports policy that we also aim to update, especially following our amendment to the Sports Act. I'm very happy to note that progress is being made. We continuously seek for ways to improve how we offer the services, how we empower the young people, how we support our athletes. And I'm looking forward to give you an update in the next quarter, definitely with improved targets and towards us achieving our annual plan. As I conclude my brief, I just want to invite our Namibian people to support us on Friday. We will have the Namibia Annual Sports Award, an event that recognizes the talent, that recognizes the hard work, the sweat, the efforts that our athletes has made to put Namibia on the map, to be the ambassadors for this country on various platforms. We will then be recognizing the efforts, the hard work on Friday. So please, if you are not able to make it in Windhoek, do tune in. It will be live on NBC, and we are looking forward to celebrate with our athletes who are our stars and who are also our pride. On this note, thank you very much for the opportunity to appraise the Namibian nation on the progress that we are making in furthering our mandate to empower our young people and to promote and to develop sport. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, for gracing us with your presence this morning, and for that comprehensive report. It is quite evident that the continued dedication of your ministry together, I mean, of course, from you and your team. It's true testament of the continued dedication in shaping the future of the Namibian sports fraternity. We truly very highly appreciate that comprehensive report. Now, Honorable Deputy Minister, deducing from your report that you've just briefed us on now, I'd like to find out infrastructure and facility is a big thing in this country at the moment. And there's a growing need for modern sports infrastructure. How is government addressing some of these challenges? Because in your statement, you've of course indicated the strides that the ministry is making in that regard. But talk to us about some of these challenges that you've experienced and what the ministry is doing to remedy the situation at hand.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very valid question. It's what we are faced with almost on a daily basis.
Right.
Even if you go for something else, that's a question that you'll be confronted with. I'm sure you've seen during my brief that unlike in the past, we have really started spreading our wings where we are trying to ensure that in regions where we do not have presence currently, we are starting up with a sporting facility because it's important as it is enshrined in our Sports Act of 2003. We are required to ensure that we promote equal participation in sports. Now, how do you achieve that when you do not have sporting facilities? Because at the end of the day, other athletes from the regions, other regions might be disadvantaged.
Absolutely.
And we are really pushing, and I'm very happy that the Minister of Finance has really given us sufficient budget. You could see when I was presenting 3 million, 2 million across all the others for sporting facilities for us to start with the feasibility study. And yeah, we are making progress. It's step by step, but it's something that really I'm pleased with being a leader in the ministry. Especially when it comes to Nkurenkuru, for example. I mean, imagine now you're in Nkurenkuru and you can play basketball. We have now started our phase 1B, as I alluded to, include tennis court. In fact, we have talent from Nkurenkuru and Urundu as well,
Right.
Kavango East. Yeah, so it's all in our view or our strive to ensure that we provide an equal opportunity. So we are making progress. We have really amplified our effort in that regard, and we will continue to do more because sport really is a big industry, especially when you look at other countries. It has become one of the biggest contributor to the economy, and I'm happy to see that even when you listen to our leaders, I listened to the Vice President, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah the other day speaking highly of sports, arts and creative industry. So as a ministry, yes, we are held on our toes to ensure that we do deliver. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I'm quite pleased to actually have learned, because from your statement, from what I deduced, you have footprints in every region in this country. And because usually it's viewed more to be central in Windhoek. But unfortunately, the whole of Namibia is not in Windhoek. I am just really pleased to have learned that you have footprints in all the 14 regions and that there are plans, even those regions that haven't yet gotten, I'm sure there is something, and there is something in the pipeline for the moment.
Now, I also want to hasten to compliment some of the local authorities that has come on board and it's really taking sport seriously. For example, the Ondangwa Town Council. You've seen this year, earlier, I think it was June or July, they launched a sports facility, because this is not only solely a responsibility of the ministry. Yeah, it requires a multi-sectoral approach for us to ensure that we provide this much-needed facility. I also want to look at the one of Okahao. I was invited to launch that the start of the sporting facility there. I mean, look, Okahao is a small town,
Absolutely.
but the town council is very it's very much involved. They are driving it. They are constantly updating us on this development, and this is what we want to see. And I urge the other local authorities also to do the same. I've seen recently in the papers, Rundu even donated, Rundu Town Council, donated land to NFA. So
Nice.
this is what we want to see. It's
Absolutely.
ours. It's
is.
not for the
We should
ministry.
take ownership.
We
as
should
a
take
country.
ownership, yes.
Okay, now, Doctor, away from the infrastructure and facilities, let's talk about support for athletes. How is the government supporting the Namibian athletes to ensure that they are adequately prepared for the international competitions, and particularly in terms of funding, training, as well as coaching?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question, because it will then allow me to share some of the good things that we did, especially when it comes to this year's Paralympics that took place in Paris. We really supported the team, not only financially, but in terms of preparation. You may recall that they were camping in Netherlands, where we had a coach, we had Mr. Letu Amola, who's our chief sports officer, being with the team, preparing them. And what came out? We got a gold that was achieved by Lahia Ishitile.
Yes.
So I'm very excited that we're part of the journey. And really, this is what we can achieve when we support, especially at the preparatory level. But what we have done, we had a meeting, especially after we have returned from the Olympics and Paralympics, where we are now saying, look, we need to put already preparation in motion for these 4 years for LA, because LA is going to host, Los Angeles will host the next Olympic Games. So we want to have a 4-year preparatory plan. We don't only want to see that athletes come at the end. In fact, not only for LA, but we are also already looking at preparing for the Commonwealth Games that will take place in 2027, because these games are also important. There you are able to gauge in terms of the performance of the athletes, where there's talent, and then we should continue nurturing it, preparing the athletes, so that come Los Angeles, we are able to achieve more medals.
Effortlessly.
Yeah, so we are supporting. And also, just adding to your question, not only supporting in terms of the preparatory, but we do have a sports reward policy that rewards athletes who achieve certain recognition. For example, now with Lahia Ishitile and her guide getting a gold medal, they will then be rewarded. I think that reward has been already done, which is a monetary reward as well. I think it's around, what, 120,000 Namibian dollars. That is for the Lahia and the guide as well. So the guide gets equal. I know often people, we don't pay attention to the guide, but fortunately, the policy does provide for that, because, I mean, without a guide, we know it's
impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah. I just want to ensure that I understood you correctly. So Lahia gets 120,000 and the guard as well, or are they sharing the amount?
No.
Okay.
Each gets rewarded.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm sure this would serve as an encouragement to upcoming athletes in this country. Yeah, and now, Doctor, with regards to partnership and sponsorship, what strategies are being employed to attract private sector to also be part and parcel of the sponsorship in the sports fraternity, especially having learned that we need, a lot has been done, but a lot still need to be done as far as, you know, ensuring that these sports infrastructure are in place? Or even just sponsoring, let's say, a certain match, or maybe, let's say, it's uniform kits or also.
Yeah, we have seen of late, at least the private sector has responded positively to support our athletes. And the Namibia Sports Commission, that is the member of our affiliates, the different sports codes, is really making progress in ensuring that not only do they receive funding and assistance from government, but also the private sector that is come on board. We've seen the corporates, the likes of MTC, for example, now FNB is assisting the Cricket Namibia. They are putting up a stadium. So these are some of the initiatives that demonstrates that when stakeholders or when private sector and government comes together, we can achieve more. And we continuously appeal to our corporate sectors to please also invest in this sector, because it not only contributes to the well-being of the young people or giving them an opportunity, but it creates social cohesion where we want a Namibian that is united. So we use sport as a tool to promote social cohesion, instill discipline, have that sense of nationhood, like you would say here, my Namibia, my pride.
Yes.
So we are contributing towards achieving that, and we can only do it when we come together as various stakeholders, and we put our hands together, put our resources together in order for us to achieve that what we want to be as Namibians.
Absolutely. Now, Namibia, if you are just tuning in, you are watching the Cabinet Committee briefing session. This morning, I am joined in the studio by the Dr. Pardon me. I'm joined in the studio by Dr. Kantema, and I'm imploring you, Namibia, to be part of this discussion by following the conversation on our social media platforms, where we are streaming this show live. On Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology, or alternatively, you can stream us live on our YouTube channel, and our handle there is MICT Namibia. Be part of the conversation. Add your voice to this discussion by posting your questions on our social media platforms in the comment section, and get your instant feedback from the doctor in studio with me. Pardon me. Now, Doctor, in your statement, you mentioned something about the Youth Employment and Economic Empowerment Namibia Youth Credit Scheme. I wanted to find out, for somebody that is now sitting and watching this program and is probably wanting to be a beneficiary of this program, what is the starting point? Where do they go? What is needed for them to be part of this, or how do they benefit?
We do have, as I indicated, multiple, we call it youth resource centers. And what I can advise the young people is to always approach our office. We do announce for calling for interest, where young people are encouraged to go and register. The first, the condition in terms of accessing this youth credit scheme is you go through basic skills, business skills training. We have made it compulsory because we first want to capacitate the young people. We want to equip them with what it takes to run a business, because we do not want to only give funding, but then in terms of capacity building, we miss that leg. So firstly, you are trained, you are assisted in terms of how do you develop a business plan, how do you run a business in terms of startups. We know that businesses, SMEs, contribute greatly to our economy. The other day I was reading up, around 12% is what the SMEs are contributing to our economy. So we really first give them that skills that they need, because it's very important for us to ensure that the sustainability, they're able to run their businesses, because it's a loan, eh? You must repay back.
You must
so
pay back,
we don't want them to default, we don't want them to not to succeed. That's why firstly, they are then given training, and once you have been assessed, you go through a rigorous process. We then identify which of the proposals are fundable, and then the loans are then dispersed. But of importance is that you are capacitated. So even if you are not funded at that time, you then have the skills, you are equipped, you are still able to go back, refine, and then obviously again participate. Because at the end of the day, we want to ensure that young people do have access to finance. This program aims to address the issue of financial inclusion, because we know that one of the challenges that young people are faced with when it comes to accessing, when it comes to partaking in SMEs, is access to finance. Even though some, I was part of one discussions where they were saying that no, access to finance is not an issue anymore, but now it's an issue of access to information. So it's very important that young people do follow this discourse that is happening across in terms of startups, SMEs, sharing information as to what other institutions have to offer in order for us to access finance. Because I know that apart from our business or the credit scheme that we run, there are also other initiatives that's being implemented in other departments, in other ministries. For example, Ministry of Trade, of recent, I think it was last month, the application closed for calling for equipment aid scheme. This is an aid. It's a grant. So if you want to start up, it's really for government to ensure that we provide that much needed support that our entrepreneurs should get in order for them to partake in the mainstream of the economy. Development Bank of Namibia also have a very good program that I often like to refer to, especially when it comes to the skills-based lending facility. This facility aims to address the issue that we are now seeing prominent in the graduate unemployment, because it provides for, let me say, an artisan graduates funding for you then to start up your own business. Absolutely. So that you can put your skills to good use. And this is not only for artisans, but also for professionals like lawyers, for example, quantity surveyors. So these are the initiatives that government is putting up for young people to be included in the mainstream. The one also that I want to mention is our credit guarantee scheme.
Yes.
We have seen that in the Minister of Finance and Public Enterprise speech when we passed the midterm review budget in October, where now we are announcing that the major banks have come on board. So this scheme is important because it bridges that gap of collateral. When you talk to young people, the first thing that they'll tell you is, look, I don't have a house, I don't have a car to put up for collateral when I go to the bank for a loan. So this scheme is part of the bigger financing strategy, SME financing strategy of government. It then allows for an entrepreneur who has a bankable business plan, but is not able to meet the collateral requirement. So the bank then would apply to this scheme, and then it gives you at least up to around 60% of that guarantee made possible and provided for by the government.
Okay. I'm quite pleased of the strides you're making also, especially as far as collateral is concerned, because I cannot emphasize that enough. So I'm sure it comes as a relief to the youth knowing that they can actually now acquire credit without collateral. Yeah. Right. Now, Honorable Deputy Minister, I'd like to find out, in your statement, you've also mentioned about the 121 rural youth enterprises that were established. That's a huge number. I want to know from you, what challenges have you encountered in just ensuring, let's say, the funding or just the establishment of these enterprises?
Yeah, this was, I think, one of the most challenging initiatives because the approach that we took was that the 121, so each constituency was then required to establish their own enterprise.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we wanted the young people to take ownership themselves, because when it comes to youth development, we have learned that bottom bottom-down approach does not really work so well. So we gave the young people an opportunity. We guided them. We even had a consultant that assisted them. We went across the country to develop business plan for each enterprise. And I want to make example of the one that was established in Murundu Urban, for example. I like to give that example because I often see them in many events, because now what they did, they set up an events management company, an enterprise. The ministry assisted with registration, CC registered, bankable business plan. They got then the funding from DBN. So you can see that I attended the one where His Excellency the President was commissioning NDF graduates. And they had their tent up there, they were providing this service. So this is what we want to see. We want to see that with the funding, with the environment that we are making conducive for you, you are able to also competently participate, or competitively, sorry, participate in the economic stream of your particular constituency. So they are really doing well. And like I mentioned in my update, we have around 18 that has been operational so far. The challenge that we are facing is that these enterprises were owned by young people. And you know how our young people are. They are very mobile. So they'll then leave Kahenge, for example, and then they leave to town. So once you leave, and then you need to amend again a CC, you can't even find these young people. They've gone AWOL, phones switched off. And also the other issue was the statutory compliance in terms of your tax certificate,
social security
exactly, all those things. So you need to have it, because this is a loan. So DBN was so merciful when it comes to ensuring that we comply. So these were some of the challenges that we have experienced. Yeah, but we are getting there, because we also understand the behavior of our young people, and we need to still encourage them so that we are able to expand and cover more. As I mentioned, we have made provision for around 9.8 million. That is now to fund the next cohort of this 121. So ultimately, we will continue to fundraise for the others, because we believe that it will really help us to ensure that young people, especially in the rural areas, participate in the economic stream of their constituency. And what we encourage the young people is look for an activity that is comparative advantage in terms of the environment, what is suitable where you are. And we are seeing that, I think it's Kavango West, where we had some constituencies that has come up with agriculture projects. And this is what we want to encourage, because if the condition is suitable, please do so, because then it makes it easier for you to set it up and also to be sustainable.
Okay.
So the 121 is a big challenge because of the nature of, I think, the enterprises, but we hope to get there.
Now, Doctor, one last question. We've run out of time. I wanted to find out, for example, now, the example you gave, so the youth is originally from Kahenge, and then they decide they maybe want to move from that constituency and they are moving elsewhere. Will they still be eligible to that benefit, because now they moved from the constituency that they initially applied this initiative from? Will they still be?
You see, the aim is really to make the young people to take ownership and also to contribute towards that. You can't just reap benefits if you are not partaking in the activities, if you are not working for it. So we encourage them to continue to contribute wherever you find yourself from. We know that nowadays you can work remotely, right?
Yes, you can.
So you can. It all depends on the commitment, on the dedication and the effort that a young person is putting in. And at this point, I want to mention that we do have a 121 constituency youth forum. These are forums that provides the young people to be the voice, to add their voice to either policies, drafting of programs, and of government programs, ensuring that the voices, the needs and the aspiration of young people is included in the government policies and programs that we are drafting. So the youth forums exist to ensure that the young people are included, they are catered for. So if you move to another constituency, it's advisable that you approach the leadership, the youth forum, and see how can you then partake perhaps in that enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are not discouraging the young people from moving, but
Yes.
wherever you are, participate. Let's build our nation. We are saying that Namibia is 71% of the population, and I always say that there is an opportunity for us to harness this demographic dividend, but again, with this opportunity, it also presents challenges.
Okay, absolutely. And now, Honorable Deputy Minister, time always goes so fast when we are having fun. But unfortunately, we've come to the end of today's discussion. We were deeply honored by your participation in this important engagement this morning. Thank you so much for coming. But maybe before I conclude, let me give you your last remarks.
No, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure for us to be given this opportunity because, like I mentioned, we have a mandate that we are entrusted with. And I just want to assure the Namibian nation that as a ministry, we continue to deliver on our mandate, we continue to improve on our offerings, and we always looking forward also to feedback from our young people. So after this, I'm going to go in your chat box to see what questions have been posted because you can only do better when you're able to improve on what you are doing. For the young people, we always urge them to visit our offices, visit our website. We are everywhere where the young people should be. We have a TikTok account, we have a Facebook account, so please do visit to see what initiatives we have in your region, in your constituency. And for the sports side, we're looking forward to see who will be crowned the sports person of the year. That is Friday. So we are excited. We have full activities for this week. For today, we have Cricket Award. We have around 4 or 5 countries that have been participating in the Cricket Cup. So we are very busy.
Okay. Absolutely. I like that you are busy, but productive busy. Right. Now, once again, Honorable Deputy Minister, thank you so much for your time, your leadership, and your continued contribution to the sports fraternity, especially as far as the development thereof is concerned. We thank you very much for availing your time this morning to come and brief us on the updates, the focus of the ministry.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Namibia, that is all the time we had for today's discussion. Do join us again tomorrow when we bring you another fruitful discussion here at the GIC. From myself, Helene Philippa Samunyela, and the entire GIC production crew, until tomorrow, take care.